Welcome to Constantine's Clubhouse. I'm here with Andrew Trop and Carl LaCroix. So, guys, the NFL draft was a couple months ago, and there was a lot of very talented people in the draft. But I want to know what you guys think was the most underrated draft pick and who's going to really impact their team.
I mean, it's easily going to be a guy who had to sit through a long time to get to hear his name called, but it's Will Levis. He's one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class. Honestly, he doesn't have the flaw that a guy like Bryce Young has of his height, and he's someone who, when the Titans finally make the decision to let him go in, either Tannehill or Willis first, I think Levis is going to excel.
I'm going to stick on that quarterback train. I'm going to go with Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. Had a phenomenal season for the Volunteers, and he fell most likely because of his age, because he's already, I believe, 24, 25 years old. But he goes into a Lions team that is a little uncertain with Jared Goff's future because his contract is winding down, and they could use Hendon Hooker as a little replacement piece if he does well. So I really like that pick for the Lions. It's a sneaky, under-the-radar pick, and I think Hendon Hooker's a star.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of big ones, but I'm going to say Jalen Hyatt in the third round for the New York Giants. Let's talk about the New York Giants for a sec. All three of their first picks were all projected to go to them first, and they got Jalen Hyatt in round 3, a speedy, deep threat that's insanely fast. We know Daniel Jones has been needing weapons for a while. You know, you got Darren Waller and Paris Campbell who will do well, but I think Jalen Hyatt will be very under the radar. And we have our first question from the live audience.
What do you think about who the Seahawks added in the draft this year with 2 first-round picks because of Russell Wilson with Jackson Smith-Njigba and Devon Witherspoon?
Yeah, Smith-Njigba is the best receiver in this draft class, and I don't really understand why he fell as far as he did. I thought there were a lot of teams that could have picked him top 10, and the best projection here is what Garrett Wilson did for the Jets. I mean, won Rookie of the Year, and I mean Wilson, Chris Olave, all those guys from Ohio State that played with Smith-Njigba said he was the best of the group.
Yeah, you have another question for live audience.
What do you think about the Eagles draft, getting a bunch of steals like Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and a big fall in QB bingo?
Yeah, it's just unfair at this point what the Eagles are doing. You know, this team just went to the Super Bowl, and they have all these lottery picks, and, you know, because of the controversy of Jalen Carter, he fell a little bit in the draft. And, you know, Jalen Carter is a freak of nature. You pair him and Jordan Davis on the defensive tackle, it's going to be crazy. And, you know, what else do you think about Nolan Smith?
I think Nolan Smith is a stud. I mean, of course, he had an incredible combine, which you never really know how much that really translates to the NFL field. But I think Nolan Smith falling to them at 30, I believe, was, one of the best picks of the draft. I think it was incredible. So we have another question from the audience.
Yeah, going over to a different New York team, the New York Jets. Kind of, I think, hit the red panic button with the Will McDonald pick in the first round. I don't hate it as a fan, but in the sense of the grand scheme of things, is it really going to work out, or they should have added more weapons for Rodgers? You know, like added Joe Tittman later to protect him. Was Will McDonald really the best pick they could have made?
Yeah, I mean, you know, with those types of picks, it's just very weird because Will McDonald's an interesting player because he really don't think he should have gone that early.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think the pick was really who the Jets wanted. It seemed, they're going to say McDonald was our number 1 and all that, but you can tell there were receivers and linemen, and especially a lot of offensive linemen. I mean, we saw taken right before them, the Patriots trading back to screw the Jets happened, the Steelers deal, and it kind of came down to like a plan C for the Jets, but McDonald can still add a lot to that defense.
I actually believe the Will McDonald pick was really good for the Jets. I think McDonald's a stud. He's going to fit right in with that defense. It may have been a bit of a reach by some people's terms, but I believe that Will McDonald's going to be a star.
We got another live audience question.
Going back to Will Levis being drafted this year, what do you think best for the Titans to do with that quarterback room with Tannehill, Levis, and Malik Willis?
I'll speak on that because I mentioned him before. And I think right now, when you come into camp, you're going to have, obviously, the 3 quarterbacks fighting it out. But by the end of camp, something's going to have to be resolved. And the odds are it's going to be either Levis or Willis. Just blow the other one out of the order and then see what goes from there. Tannehill's the starter right now.
We got one more live question from the audience.
I think an underrated pick made by the Texans was Tank Dell. What do you think about that pick?
Absolutely. Tank Dell. I think that, really under the radar receiver. There were so many of those guys. It was such a deep draft class. I think Tank Dell is an absolute beast. And I think he's going to fit in really well with C.J. Stroud and the other receivers in Houston. Going to be mentored by Robert Woods, and I really like it.
All right, that's going to do it for Constantine's Clubhouse tonight. I'm Brad Romano, Andrew Trop, and Carl LaCroix. Thank you for watching.